You know when you see those beautiful, old European cities? Well, behind those historic facades, there's often a hidden problem. And in Liege, Belgium, it's a massive energy problem. We're going to dive into why these incredible old buildings are just guzzling energy, and why fixing it, well, it's not as simple as you might think.
But before we land in Liege, let's zoom out for a second. Get this. Across Europe, buildings, our homes, our offices, they're the #1 energy consumer. We're talking a whopping 60% of all energy used. Yeah, that's more than cars and factories put together. This one number is really the key to the whole story we're about to unpack.
So you see, this isn't just about Liege. It's a European-wide issue. All across the continent, cities are wrestling with the exact same challenge. How in the world do we modernize our historic buildings without destroying what makes them so special in the first place? To try and get a handle on this, the EU came up with these pretty ambitious 2020 climate targets. The idea was straightforward enough: a 20% cut in emissions and a 20% boost in energy efficiency, all by the year 2020. And the single biggest key to hitting those numbers? You guessed it, renovating Europe's massive stock of old buildings. Okay, so let's narrow our focus now, because while this is a European problem, one country in particular is a real outlier when it comes to just how energy hungry its homes are, and that country is Belgium. And this is where the story gets really wild. The average home in Belgium uses, wait for it, 70% more energy than the average home in the rest of the EU. I mean, that is a huge gap. So what is going on here? What makes Belgian homes so different? Just take a look at this chart. It tells you pretty much everything you need to know. That huge slice of the pie for Belgium, that's households. It's just so much bigger than the EU average. It shows that while a lot of other countries have been making real progress, Belgium, well, it's lagging behind. And of course, all that extra energy has a direct cost to the environment, right? In Belgium, homes are the second largest source of CO2 emissions. The only thing pumping out more is the manufacturing industry. It's a crystal clear sign that the country's housing is a massive part of its climate problem. All right, to really understand what's happening, we need to go deeper. We need to zoom in on one city. So let's head to Liege. It's like a living laboratory for this age-old problem, this clash between history and the need for a sustainable future. So here we are, Liege. It's a major city in Belgium's Walloon region, and it has this incredibly rich history forged in the steel industry. You can literally feel that past etched into the buildings all around the city, and it's those very buildings that are at the heart of this huge energy challenge. And here it is. This is really the crux of the issue. A staggering 69%, let's just call it nearly 70% of all the buildings in Liege were constructed before 1945. Think about that for a second. This was a time of massive industrial growth, long before anyone was even thinking about something like energy efficiency. So, okay, the buildings are old. We get it, but what exactly is it about how they were built that makes them so incredibly inefficient? Let's break it down. You can really see the two faces of Liege right here. On one side, you've got these classic, traditional brick houses. On the other, the more modern apartment blocks. The visual difference is pretty stark, right? But the real story, the most important difference, is what you can't see, the materials they're made of. I mean, these older buildings in Liege, they were built to last. We're talking thick, solid, massive walls made of terracotta brick and stone. But here's the thing. Those materials, as sturdy as they are just terrible insulators. Heat just pours right through them. And they were built without any of the modern insulation we take for granted today. And this chart is, wow, it's pretty striking. Take all those buildings built before 1945. Over 80% of them have zero wall insulation. None. Think about that. That means 4 out of every 5 of these old homes are just bleeding heat straight out through their walls. Here's a simple way to think about it. An old, uninsulated brick wall, that's kind of like you trying to stand outside in the middle of winter wearing just a cotton t-shirt. A modern, insulated wall, that's like putting on a high-tech thermal jacket. The difference in the energy you need just to stay warm is, well, it's absolutely massive. So if we know the problem is a lack of insulation, the solution seems pretty obvious, right? Just add some. But as we're about to find out, it is far more complicated than that. And the numbers here just speak for themselves. Look at this.
An old building from before 1863 uses almost 3 times more energy for heating than a modern one built in the 2000s. The potential for savings is just enormous.
So the question is obvious. If the savings are so clear, why aren't we seeing a citywide renovation boom in Liege? Well, the answer is a whole tangled web of challenges. For starters, renovations are super expensive and can be really complex. You also have to think about preserving the historical character of these buildings. Plus, it's incredibly disruptive to renovate a building while people are living in it. And then, on top of all of that, there's a huge social hurdle.
It's called the owner-tenant dilemma. In Liege, where over half the population rents, you have tenants stuck with these crazy high energy bills, but they can't make the upgrades. Meanwhile, the landlords, the owners, have very little financial incentive to invest in renovations because they aren't the ones saving money on the bills. It's a classic catch-22.
All of this leaves us with a really big, fundamental question. How do we preserve the soul of our historic cities while building a sustainable future? It's a challenge that goes far beyond Liege, and one that cities all across the globe are going to have to confront.